and then she changed her Twitter bio to say she was chilling and watching a movie with a friend. Because the world we live in now is one where the president of the most powerful country in the West insults an autistic climate change activist who's 16 years old, and she clapped back the best way a 16-year-old could.
Don't talk to me about fucking the world we live in now. It's all horrible.
Tell me about
horrible.
Tell me about it. Do you want to know? We won't get too political in case our listeners don't want us to / voted for the wrong people. But that was satire and also frustration. On our Panto shows last Friday night in particular.
Oh, yeah.
And on Saturday morning, there was a genuine kind of just feeling in the audience of, like everyone was just out of it. And I think, as weird as it sounds, and I'm not saying like we changed the world, but I think maybe them coming to see people like tell crap jokes and flail around probably helped. Yeah, because I've never known an audience before in any show I've been to or been in to palpably feel upset in the room.
Yeah,
it's really outside of obviously intentionally making him upset within the case of a story or a play or whatever. But it's sort of like, oh, this is weird. So I think by Act 2 and minor spoiler alert, the raining men sequence of Robin Hood, I think they were well cheered up by that point. So it was like, there we go. Good. Escapism, folks.
Good.
It can be healthy, as can the Big Damn Cast. Hello, we are your hosts.
There's nothing healthy about this.
I am Christopher Chuck Wendig's Aftermath Trilogy Johnson.
I am Matthew Watson. Star Wars Legends is still canon, Watson. So good I said my surname twice.
Because you wanted to make sure it was officially canon, that's why.
Officially canon.
Good sir. Kind sir.
What if, this is the measure of Star Wars fans now.
Yeah.
someone fucking started a thread on the Star Wars subreddit being like, so, like, what if we created a council to vote on what was and wasn't canon, and how, and do you think we could get the license from Disney so we could take control of it as the fans? And
okay.
The
Two
internet
things.
laughed. The internet laughed so hard.
Two things. One, there is a council that decides what's canon. It's called that freaking team of people that monitor the canon.
It's a Star Wars story group.
That is their job.
Led by Pablo Hidalgo, I think, I want to say.
Yeah. And two, do you have like a spare $20? I'm sure that'll buy you the license to Star Wars.
Maybe if every person on the planet and then some chucked in.
How depressing is that, though? Like, if we all chipped in, like, $5 each, like, we could absolutely afford, like, the $6.5 billion or whatever, this and that. Cool. If you have that kind of drive, maybe put it toward cancer cures
something that matters. Getting
people off the street. There's oh, God. In our local area, back home, Worsley, in Greater Manchester, have recently, over the last few weeks, they've restored that entrance to like the old tunnels and everything, and the around the waterworks, and they've given it a go over. They've made like walkways and paths around it. Similar to the areas in Clifton Marina, in Greater Manchester, folks. We're talking nonsense now, but just bear with me.
I know what you mean.
Like where you've got like the sculptures of the miners and things like that, and it's just sort of like, it's a bit of heritage about the area and what it meant. They've done that in Worsley, but they've spent £5.5 million on it. And I'm looking at the centre of Manchester City Centre and going, yeah, but can we sort out the guys that are on Spice and get them off it and give them a roof? Like, sure, yeah, of course, celebrate and acknowledge the hard work of the people that came before us. But the people that came before us aren't here anymore. And the people that are dying on the street are. So can we maybe, look after them, please? I don't know. What am I talking about? I didn't vote Tory.
What?
Anyway, the point... Hey, and I don't judge anyone who did if they did it with sound mind, sound reasoning, and they read up on what they were doing. I don't judge anybody for that.
But then why would you vote Tory? Hey, politics,
lads.
Oh fucking hell!
Oh god, I'm not well, Matt.
None of us are.
I'm not well. Oh, but I'm not well in the squiffy sense.
Oh no!
So, as of recording this, it's Monday, the 16th of December. In case anyone's wondering, based on the thumbnail and the title and all that, as to why we're not reviewing Rise of Skywalker yet. Yeah, spoiler alert, next week.
Well, no, because next week's the Christmas episode.
Is it? I thought it was the week after Christmas episode.
No.
Oh my goodness!
It's Christmas.
Well, in that case, folks, look out for a video or two.
It's the 16th today.
Yeah.
Yar.
So
Christmas Day falls on next Wednesday, which is when we would normally record next week's episode. But we've already recorded the Christmas episode.
Oh my god!
Because we're organised and shiz.
Oh my god! Of course, the Christmas episode will be going out on Boxing Day for everybody to wrap their ears around. When did Christmas get here so quickly? Well, in that case, if you want our spoiler-filled thoughts, folks, tune in the week after.
Yeah, but, I'm seeing it on Thursday. So
yeah, I'm seeing it at 1 minute past midnight on Thursday in 3D.
Oh, I'm not. I'm seeing it on Thursday afternoon in 2D.
Ah, fair enough. Beautifully, Thursday ended up being like our one last day off aside from Christmas Day for the rest of the run. Ooh. So when I realised that, some of the team were like, "We're going out on Wednesday night. We're going out," and I'm like, out. "I'm going out for about an hour, and then I'm going to the Odeon. I'm going to watch Star Wars, and then I'm going to spend most of the next day in bed." Because my God, we're about to hit the busy Christmas schedule for the show.
Oh yeah, I bet.
It's a loving nightmare, but the good kind of nightmare, with pies and dreams and hope and prosperity, and austerity being dealt with. But the point is that
tell me about it.
Oh God, but so everyone's been working really hard on the Panto New Theatre Royal, Lincoln.co.uk. If you want to come along, come see us. Robin Hood, it's really good. And
it's really good.
It's really fantastic. You know it is. It really is. Thank you, the late great Frank Sidebottom there for endorsing.
Actually, have gone mad, haven't you?
Quite possibly. Well, here's the thing. I may genetically have gone a little bit stir crazy. I'm definitely stirred up because back in week one, if you want a bit of weird panto gossip, folks, go to, I think it's on the Lincolnite as the website. It might be
back in week one.
might be Lincolnshire Live, but I think it is definitely the Lincolnite. Reported that an Indian restaurant in the area gave a table of guests, 7 guests, 5 of them the next 3 days were very, very unwell. They theorised that it was to do with the chicken, because the 5 that were unwell had chicken.
Well, it's always the chicken, isn't it?
But herein lies the rub. Because on the exact same floor...
Rub did they put on the... Oh, it was the rub they put on the chicken.
Yeah, they were rubbing that chicken right up. On the exact same floor on that exact same night, a bunch of us were out there as well.
No.
During rehearsal period, there's always a night where, like, once the band are starting to do their get-in, we'll always go and have a curry. And there's a big batch of us there too. Next day, a lot of the cast weren't feeling well. The day after, the director even said, and this was on the last tech day, the director even said to the 4 or 5 that were really unwell in our group, stay home, come in for the last tech and dress at the end of the day. Like, just stay home and get better. Which was, obviously it's weird. And for those who don't know, tech and dress are, tech is when you plot the show out on stage with everybody involved, so lighting, sound, everybody is now there, and it's about feeling your way and making sure it all works, and the cues are on time, and the lighting's good, and changing where the spots are, blah, 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 blah. And then dress is as close to a real put-on of the show as you can get. Yeah. Ideally, never stopping, going all the way through. Sometimes it stops and starts here and there if things need to be tweaked, and then it carries on. It's like the DVD version of the show. People pause it and go, right, hang on, do you know what? We're going to bring that a bit further forward. All right, okay, fine. You ready? And carry on. Okay. So it's kind of essential for everyone to be there, but it's bad in terms of how everyone was feeling if the director's like, no, 5 cast members, stay home and come in later. I thankfully was okay. Myself and my co-star Jamie were the only 2 who didn't really get unwell at all. Everyone was either really badly unwell or partly unwell. We were fine, and we surmised that it was because our butter chicken was obviously, we both had the butter chicken, it must have been fine. Yeah, we now suspect that what really went on was there was some equipment that hadn't been cleaned properly. And we were just fortunate enough to not get it because our drummer Mike did a little bit of reading and found out that in late October, the norovirus was doing the rounds in Lincoln.
Oh no!
Yeah, squits and shits and spits and lits.
Norovirus is nasty, man.
It's not fun. And so symptoms include really, really painful cramps in the stomach, shitting through the eye of a needle, and the occasional bit of puking. And these symptoms matched how a lot of people were feeling. So that was a difficult first week. Obviously, the first lot of shows, school shows, went on, and a lot of the cast were like very much in that sense of, you know, the archetype of the actor who doesn't stop having a bucket like to the side of the stage just in case. And you just get on, you do your thing, blah blah blah. This is great, and then you get off and you go, oh god, oh right, I need to be stage right because I'm back on in 5 minutes. Okay, here we go. You know, that kind of thing. Everyone's soldiering through. Power to them. They did so well. Not a single sign in the show that anyone was off their game. Brilliant. Well done, cast.
Well done.
Well done. Everyone seems to be past it for the most part. Our lovely Friar Tuck, Chris Hayes, who is my third time working with him. Actually, we worked together in Alice in Wonderland and Wizard of Oz. He's still feeling a little sort of unsure. His appetite's not come back yet.
Unsure
basically.
of his farts, basically.
Yeah, no, he's been all right. He's not been a tutti frutti, but he's been, you know, his appetite really hasn't restored since yet. So he's been eating very minimally, and which, you know, is obviously good if stuff in your stomach's upsetting you. You need to eat a lower intake of stuff and pick the right things. But you know, he's doing okay, and it seems like aside from him having a bit of a tummy upset, we're okay. But then the last 3 days. I suddenly got hit by stomach cramps the other day. And then, gory details, folks, for this Star Wars podcast. I went to the bathroom pre-show, because once I'm in my costume, guys, I'm in my costume. Like, there are layers to my costume, and I cannot easily peel those layers back. So I will always pre-show whatever, if I need it or not, I will always go for a pee. Pre-show that day, I was like, oh, I feel a bit weird. So I went for a number 2, and nothing happened. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm fine. And then I went on stage, and the moment I stepped on stage, this little voice somewhere from within my gut went, "Hello, Christopher.
Hello.
You thought I wasn't here, but I am." I spent the rest of that show with the tensest middle torso you will ever see. Just in case, because you hear horror stories of people shitting themselves on stage, and I'm like, I don't want that to be me, at least not in front of these children. So,
can you imagine? Can you imagine?
God. What was your favourite part of the show? When Will Scarlet shat himself. But we've been trying to trace what it could be, because, like, based on what I'd eaten that day, Lucy was here, and we both had a slice of cake at this coffee shop that was from the same cake, and that was the only thing I'd really eaten that morning. But she's fine. It's like, oh, God, well, what is this? We can't quite pinpoint it. And then it hit me. There is a single hand towel in the bathroom next to our dressing room that has been there for 2 weeks. And myself and Mr. Barney Harwood have been like, I'm sure that's not been washed. I'm sure that's not been taken in by anyone. Now, if that's the case, that towel's been there since everyone had the virus. Oh, no. So, I've been washing my hands, and it seems to be just me at the minute, but I've been washing my hands with a dirt rag that has sent me towards oblivion. Oh, no. So this might be my last big damn cast. After the pre-recorded Christmas special.
Oh no, you'll survive. I'll resurrect you.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you. But aren't you when you're resurrected? Aren't you usually resurrected in the state you were in before you died? So I'll have an eternal virus.
Yes, you'll be forever shitting.
Oh God. Oh, what an Afterlife trailer, which we'll talk about later.
Yes. Oh, it's a wonderful afterlife. That's very
I know.
seasonal. First of all, though, I think we're going to catch up on some emails.
We bleeding well are. You lot got in touch, and we were like, yay! But also, we were pre-recorded, so we couldn't really say anything.
You were always like, and I was also like, stop touching me, please.
Yeah, that was
the
weird,
boundary
guys.
with which I'm not comfortable crossing.
Look, I know we share a nice relationship with you all, but seriously, back off a
Don't
little
touch me.
bit.
Get that finger out of there.
You don't know where it's been. It might have been to that Indian restaurant.
Oh, God. In which case, get that finger up there and plug it.
Put that thing back where it came from, so help me.
Oh, this one comes in from long-time listener, Jacob.
Jacob. It's your old Jacob.
Jacob says, hey up, big damn cockers.
Hey up, Jacob.
I recently listened to your Twilight Zone quiz episode, which persuaded me to go and watch the original TV show for the first time, which I'm very glad to say I'm enjoying very much.
Hey.
My favourite episode so far has been one for the Angels?
One for the Angels.
Or is it one for the Angles?
It'll definitely be Angels.
Yeah, I just like, I know Jacob's dyslexic, so I'm not sure if that's the word or if that's just a spelling, just a typo.
I mean, I'll be honest, one for the Angles sounds fun.
Sounds very Lovecraftian. Many angled beings. Non-Euclidean geometry. In fact,
I don't know which one it is. Oh, this is the one with Edwin.
Okay.
Yes. This one's got Mr. Death in it.
Mr. Death.
Yes. It's about a snake oil salesman, like a guy who sells trinkets and stuff. And there's a whole deal with the devil. Yeah, no. Again, it's Twilight Zone, so I'm not gonna say too much about it. But yeah,
your career options are probably limited with a name like Mr. Death.
Yeah. It features Edwin, don't you know?
I do now. In fact, I'd say it's one of the best 50s pieces of television I've ever watched. What are both of your favourite episodes of the Twilight Zone? See, I'm not really qualified to answer this because I've not actually watched a lot of Twilight Zone. I'm aware of it culturally and its impact.
Oh, through osmosis.
Yeah, but I haven't really sat down and watched much, so I couldn't.
So if I said to you, "There's something on the wing,"
I know what that is.
Yeah,
that's Nightmare at how many thousand feet it was in the 50s. I don't know. It's more now. And
they keep adding, like Tarantino. They keep adding feet. Wash your souls, Margot.
Fucking hell.
For me, if we're talking just like pure spooks and creepiness,
spoopy.
Yeah, The Dummy with Cliff Robertson is really bloody good.
Is the dummy called Peter?
Peter. No, sorry, I'm trying to find the. Oh, that's the one. Yeah. No, the dummy. No, the dummy's called. No, it's not Willy, because the same prop is used in another ventriloquist episode, and that's called Caesar and Me from a later series.
Does it give him the willies?
No, but it has one of the creepiest ending shots of a Twilight Zone ever.
Dun, 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 dun.
And Cliff Robertson, mate. Cliff Robertson is amazing in it. The all-time greatest performances of people convinced their dummy is alive but terrified that everyone will think they're mad is basically like Cliff Robertson in The Dummy, Anthony Hopkins in Magic, and that guy from Dead of Night. But yeah, no, The Dummy's great. It's great for simple spooks, as is Talkie Tina. Mirror Image is another amazing one. That's the one where a woman is trying to escape her life, and you sort of learn a bit more about her as the episode goes on. So she's at a bus depot late at night, waiting for the first shuttle bus out of town, and she narrowly keeps missing someone who looks exactly like her, and it's one of those where as it unfolds, you're like, the fuck is happening here? The After Hours is a really good one, set in a department store. But I think the absolute best Twilight Zone for me is The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, because it's a story about paranoia at that point, based sort of on post World War II, pre Cold War, kind of anti-communism kind of vibes in America.
Yeah.
And it's dead simple. It's some weird shit's going on the street, and the neighborhood start pointing fingers at each other, and it's just about the growing aggression and paranoia and the way people decide who might be in the wrong. And it's like, ooh, that one has aged, upsettingly has aged very well, because it's still kind of happening. In the way that the paranoia gets to grips
correct me if I'm
with
wrong, but it seems like the Twilight Zone has always been rich in social commentary, if not overtly political.
Oh, absolutely. The best Twilight Zones are layered like crazy. The ones that are more kind of straightforward, like spooky flicks, are more about they're more discussing issues of psychosis, things like betrayal, secrets, paranoia, like that sort of stuff. Whereas some of the best ones are the ones that deal with a big issue but turn it into a sci-fi plot. Basically, like old school sci-fi, how it should be, like things like Star Trek and everything, using the real world as a basis for a story. I'm glad it's Jacob, isn't it, took into the Twilight Zone. I'm glad you are, Cockle.
Yay!
Dig more, keep watching it. It's great. And then watch some of the 80s ones, not because it's great per se, but mostly because you'll be like, oh my god, is that Bruce Willis? Wait a minute, is that Morgan Freeman?
Have you had?
Oh my god, is that Glenn Close? What is going on here?
Have you had a chance to watch any of the Jordan Peele ones?
No, I haven't. Well, I was given a pirated link at one point for the first episode, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna save it. It's only 10 episodes, so I'm gonna save it for when I have the chance to legally
Obtain
it properly. Yeah, and then just binge. But I have oh dear, I accidentally ruined it for myself. I read the plot of the last episode, like not all the way through, but the setup, and I wish I hadn't, because the last one is very meta.
Okay.
And I think that would have been more fun to sort of. There's more to it than what I've just said, but like the I think it would have been more fun to see it unfold. But it did whet my appetite. So
love a whetted appetite.
I love a Jordan Peele.
Hey.
Monkey paw.
This next one comes in from Lewis.
Hey, Lewis.
Lewis says, "Greetings."
Oh my God, is Lewis James Earl Jones?
He's as James Earl Jones as I can get, so I'm going to back off from that. Listening.
What?
No.
I forgot where the what comes from until I've been watching Movie Bob's Really That Good episode on Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I've not watched that yet.
It's up on YouTube. He put it up like a week ago, and then copyright bots and all this, that, and the other. But it's back up now, and I forgot that the what comes in as the Millennium Falcon starts shooting at the trench run.
Yeah.
The only reason I'd forgotten is because I associate it so much with the Peter Serafinowicz show. Because whenever they do a Darth Vader skit, he always goes, "What?" It's just the most odd line reading in the world, and I forgot that it is a thing he has said in a Star Wars.
Yes, yeah. It's an official Vader soundbite. There's probably a talky Vader toy that says it.
What?
What? Okay. Lewis says, listening to episode 180 was really fascinating. I've been listening since episode 1, so it was interesting to hear how your opinions have changed and evolved over the last 3 years.
It's been a while.
It's really cool that you both can admit when you may have been wrong or misjudged something. A lot of people can't do that, or don't do that. Hindsight is 20/20, as they say. I do agree about Ghostbusters 2016. I still fall on the side of liking it, but I don't want to revisit it anytime soon. I had an unbelievably good experience in the cinema and left really happy and entertained, but I'm aware that it ain't that good, so I don't want to have that experience tainted for me. It's interesting that the film has basically been forgotten only 3 years later. Yeah.
Yeah. Except for essayists online who are using it as an excuse to have a go at people excited for the new one, or vice versa.
Oh, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
We'll get into that. At the end of the day, opinions are opinions, and no opinion is wrong. It was super nice to hear you two talk about changing your minds, so cheers for that, lads. You both continue to be some of the most genuine content creators out there. Well, thank you. We do try.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it is an odd position to be in when you publish content about your opinions, because if your opinion does change and evolve over time, you're sort of put under a microscope in a way that you wouldn't be otherwise. Where people go, "Hang on, I thought you liked that. Why have you changed your mind? I invested time in a video that you made about the thing." Which is kind of the reason why we made Big Damn Love, really, isn't it? Like, because we're sick of the negative stuff, but also, like, this way we get to be like, no, here's stuff that we have over, like, the last 20 plus years of our cognitive cycles decided that, no, we love this, and here's the thing. But it was nice, wasn't it? It was nice to sort of go, right, okay, actually.
Yeah.
Or
Definitely.
Since back in the day, folks.
Well, further to that, Lewis also goes on to say, on the subject of Batman and Robin, I totally agree with Chris there. Time has been exceptionally kind to that film. I'm not going to leap to its defense, but I think it seems to be fairly self-aware and comfortable in its own skin. I'd argue the visual effects, production design, score, and at points the cinematography are all fantastic, and I give it major points for having a sense of individuality to it. The Schumacher films are so theatrical. Oh, pardon me. Very tired. We're so theatrical, with Batman crashing through ceilings perfectly posed like an action figure, and huge Greek gods around the Gotham skyline. They feel like Schumacher films, and that sense of pure individuality and theatricality is something you don't see too often in today's sea of comic book movies. At the end of the day, Batman and Robin is what it is. I do think it's worth another look. It's hardly worth getting outraged about anymore. We're so far removed from it, and the superhero genre has long since recovered from its effects. I think now we can just look back on it as a relic of a different time. Something like it just wouldn't get made today. As I said, I'm not going to pretend that it's a masterpiece or even a good film, but I think at this point in time, it's harmless fun, and I genuinely can find a lot to really like in it. Anyway, that's me done. Tatty bye. Thanks, Lewis.
Thanks, Lewis. Yeah, no, I'm so glad it's not just me who thinks that it's awful, but it's the fun kind of awful. And it's basic. I had to think about it since we recorded the episode. It's basically the greatest toy commercial ever made.
Yeah.
In terms of scale, like it's upsetting that it is basically just a toy commercial, but as far as toy commercials go, holy crap, that is a well-made toy commercial.
But what toys?
Hey,
what great toys!
She's a lover, not a fighter. That's why every Poison Ivy action figure comes complete with him. There was never a Bane 2-pack. So
you know what's really rubbish.
What?
The Batgirl action figure they did for that.
Oh, what was that one like?
Because it was based on an old design that they didn't use, so it didn't really match the Batgirl in the film. Also, sexism.
I only had in hindsight, I only had one figure from that film's set.
I only had one. I had Mr. Freeze.
Oh,
yeah.
I had Robin and his cycle.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is cool because even as a kid, I was like, "This is Nightwing."
Yeah.
It was only when I got the toy in hand, I was like, "He's Nightwing now." I always found that weird. In the film called Batman and Robin, he's basically dressed as his next nom de plume.
Pretty much. I mean, because Robin was not cool, and Nightwing was cool. And this was before Dan DiDio was editor-in-chief at DC and hated Nightwing.
But those parents weren't going to go and see the film with the kids if Robin wasn't in the title. So
yeah, and
Batman and Nightwing doesn't have the same ring to it.
It was weird because as big a toy commercial as Batman and Robin was, I didn't really have any Batman and Robin figures, but I had a lot of the Batman Forever figures.
Yeah,
like I had the quick change Batman, the quick change Robin. With the Robin, where you just rub water on his face and his mask appears.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
I had the Riddler, I had Two-Face. I had a bunch of different Batmen. Because there was like Blast Cape Batman and Sonar Batman and other Batman.
I forgot. I had the Batmobile from Batman and Robin, but it didn't come with a figure.
No.
So Robin drove my Batmobile quite a lot.
I had the Batman Forever Batmobile. And that didn't come with a figure, so my quick change Batman drove it a lot. Because some of the other Batman figures didn't fit in it because of their various gimmicks.
Yeah.
So you had to have
giant bloody wings.
You had to have a Batman with the right gimmick to fit in the Batman Forever Batmobile.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. That's why the Batman with the correct gimmick will only fit into this vehicle playset.
And also,
the
the batteries in it didn't last very long. So even though it did have the light up undercarriage and all that good stuff, it was just like, oh, it lasts for 5 minutes and now I can't do anything with it. I'm going to go and play with my Spawn figures instead.
Mom, I want the Violator. Oh my God, that's it. We're taking him to church.
Oh boy, did I have the Violator. He was like a bendy one.
Didn't they rename him for the toy line?
No, it was the Violator
or something.
They did the clown figure and they did a Violator, and the Violator was like a wire armature with the stretchy plastic round it, like the rubbery plastic round it, so you could pose it.
I remember that.
And then
it looked like a gremlin puppet that had been boiled.
Yeah, basically. And the horn on the top of his head moved his jaw. And then they had a clown figure, and the clown figure was basically a statue with arms that could move up and down, it was like a hollow plastic statue.
Yeah.
With arms,
I remember
that
that
could
one.
move up and down, and then it had the Power Rangers style action gimmick where you could flip
The
his
head
head.
flip.
Yeah, from being clown to being a proto Violator head, as if he's like about to start morphing. Oh, they were shit, weren't they?
They
anyway,
marketed Spawn to children. I still find that weird.
I think I might still have some of them lying around somewhere. I don't know if I got rid of Spawn figures or if I still got them lying around.
I think I got rid of mine. I got mine as hand-me-downs. I think I got rid of them. Because as I got older and started making more space, I was like, I'm just going to keep my Marvel stuff.
I've still got a bunch of stuff, but I can't remember what I have and haven't got. I need to dig it out because I need to get the rest of it on eBay and get rid of it.
Get rid of your Violator.
But I think I had all of the Wave 1 Spawn figures, including the incredibly dense and thick overt kill. Like, all of
Yes.
all of
he has like 3 points of articulation and is covered in chains.
Yeah, and he's just enormous. Which is weird because, like, so many of the rest of the figures in that wave just feel very flimsy and lightweight. Because I think all the hollow space they left in the sculpts from
all that plastic
the rest
went
of the
into
wave, all
Overkill.
that plastic went into Overkill because he's so heavy.
Yeah, because they did like a McFarlane did like one of those revised waves years later, didn't they? Where they did them in like extra detail and
Yeah, well, I mean they were
collector
just
sets.
constantly reissuing new versions of the same character.
The overt kill was heavy enough that you could like kill a pet if you dropped it on him.
I mean,
It
the
was,
original
like-
one you could kill a man with if you hit him hard enough. Like it is a plastic bludgeon essentially.
Some would call that overt kill. Ha 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 ha. It's depressing
So
that they came up with that character on that Stan Lee show where they were just sketching something off the top of their head and it's basically overt kill, but they call it overkill.
And Stanley ripping the piss out of him the whole time.
You're not very good at drawing feet, are you?
This next one comes in from Dan.
Hey Dan with your shiny, shiny knees.
He says, "Greetings, boys. I was touched to hear your concern for my knees." And rightfully so, as they're an important part of my anatomy. My knees are sadly as old and dusty, however, as I have the lower legs and feet of a platypus to cushion them nicely. Also, Chris, you used my nickname that I've had since I was about 7, Dopey. I would gladly take up that offer of a drink, though, if I'm ever in the north.
Hey!
And as it's nearly Christmas, and I'm not sure if you've focused solely on this before, how would you both rank the Doctor Who Christmas specials? Look forward to your reluctant answers. A most merry of Crimbos to both of you in case I don't email again until the new year. Thank you, Dan. Right, Christmas specials.
Well, my favourite Christmas special is the 2019 Christmas special of
Yeah.
Well.
We're getting the
Well,
new
the 20
series on New Year's Day, though.
That's true, and then we're getting part 2 of the first story 4 days later, so that's kind of impressive.
That's pretty cool.
Although, have you seen Lenny Henry's been absolutely buggering up the press tour?
How so?
Oh God! So he was asked like, the series with the first female Doctor, like, what do you think? Blah blah. And he's basically said like they have to like force it to get black people into Doctor Who. And he outs Russell. He says like Russell T Davies like barely. Like, I don't know, you would never have got a black Doctor under Russell T Davies and all this, that, and the other, and you're like, where's it? Wait, Lenny, what the hell? You meant to be selling the series. And also, Russell introduced the first person of colour companion. Like, what is this? Like, what's happening?
I don't know.
Moffat has gone on record as saying before Matt Smith was auditioned, the role of the 11th Doctor was offered to an actor who is black, and they turned it down. So it's not like the show wasn't actively trying to be more representative over the years. It's just a really weird thing for him to do, considering he's just meant to be getting out there and saying, yeah, no, it was great, and Jodie's a lot of fun, and we had a really good time on the series. It's like, Lenny, what are you doing?
What are you doing,
What
Len?
is this? Like there are absolutely injustices within casting in television and theatre throughout the industry, but Doctor Who is one of those areas where that's not really a thing.
Hey, I don't know.
Compared to other places. Compared to other things. I mean, look at the main cast right now. First female Doctor. It's taken us too long to get there. You know, Mandip Gill and Tosin Cole. comprise 50% of our core cast,
Yeah.
and they are not white actors. You know what I mean? It seems weird to pick on Doctor Who whilst you're meant to be advertising the story you're in.
Yeah, it's weird.
Really
I don't
strange.
know. Whatever.
It's almost as big a shit show as the Star Wars press tour's been.
Oh
so far.
God, we'll get into that.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's been fun. But first, let's have a look at the recent trailers that graced
hang
our
about.
eyes and ears.
Real quick. What's your favourite Christmas special?
Oh yeah, no, we did. We actually started talking about that and didn't actually, did we?
I got distracted by Lenny Henry being a weirdo.
We're supposed to rank them. So I'm gonna go.
I can't rank them all. I can barely remember half of them.
In that case,
I'll tell you what I think my best few are.
What's
off the
that?
top of my head,
What's
the
that?
ones I
What's
think
that?
are the most enjoyable. Christmas Invasion.
well, Christmas Invasion is still the best one. Like,
Yeah,
hands down.
I agree. Yeah. The Snowmen is a lot of fun.
Snowman's all right.
Includes the best version of Clara.
Yeah, I wish I wish
And-
they'd gone forward with that version of Clara.
Yeah, samesies. And I quite like A Christmas Carol. I think it's the cinematography. I think it's the score.
I just found A Christmas Carol really obnoxious.
Fair enough, but you do hate Joy.
I do hate joy. That's true.
You notoriously hate Joy.
Which is ironic because I quite like Christmas, but I hate the joy it brings.
Actually, do you know which one might be? If I had to just whack one on and watch it, do you know which one my favourite might be?
What's that one?
Voyage of the Damned.
Oh yeah, that is quite
It's-
good, isn't it?
It's goofball as hell, and it's so bleak.
Is it the Batman and Robin of Christmas specials?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes. There's a lot of misfires in it. It's a little too daft. The angel ascending with the Doctor moment is ridiculous.
So dumb. I love it.
But it gave birth to Astrid, who's one of those companions who you meet them and you go, actually, can she stick around? Can we? Oh
No,
I guess not. It gave us the first appearance, even though he wasn't named as such yet, as of Wilf.
Yes.
Which is a nice treat. Because I remember watching that on Christmas Day and be like, oh my god, it's Bernard Cribbins! Because even I as a kid recognised him. And I was like, oh my god, it's Bernard Cribbins!
So early Wilf.
What a nice nod to Dalek Invasion 2150 AD.
I watched the shit out of that. I had the version of that taped off ITV and I watched the shit out of it as a kid.
It's got Duke from Tracy Beaker in it, and there is never enough Duke in television as far as I'm concerned.
Whatever you say.
It's true, no, he was great. He was a ledge. He's the husband of the couple that won the competition, which made his death even more horrific because he was still in the public consciousness to kids as Duke at that point. So for him to fall to a fiery death was kind of like, oh my god, that's a bold move, guys.
Oh no!
The dick member of our Poseidon Adventure crew survives.
Yeah.
The smarmy rich guy. It's like I wasn't expecting that to happen. Okay.
Bold move.
It nods to Robots of Death because the angels are absolutely a nod to the Vok robots in terms of their style.
You know I love a Vok robot.
As weird as the effect turns out to be, and it just being kind of oddball, I can't help but enjoy. My name is Max. Ding. Like, I think all that is
so weird.
Wonderfully daft. Mr. Copper is a very charming character and gave us one of the most bizarre interviews in all of science fiction coverage.
that was weird, wasn't it?
And also it gave us as much posturing as the 10th Doctor does, and as much as we can kind of mock it in retrospect, it gave us I'm the Doctor, I'm a Time Lord, I'm 903 years old, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a great moment in the episode. It's such a badass sort of like, oh, go on then.
It's Christmas. We'll let you have a boast.
Yeah, Voyage of the Damned. Voyage of the Damned by Jiminy.
Voyage of the Damned.
Voyage of the Damned.
Yes.
Vojidi.
Vod.
Vojidi. Milosity Voyage.
What's the worst Christmas special?
Oh,
Twice Upon a Time.
either. Now you've said it. I was going to say, it's obviously Last Christmas, but I don't hate Last Christmas. It's not good.
I don't hate
it.
It's kind of boring. And it absolutely chickens out of its ending as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because she changed her mind. That's why. She was going to leave the show, and then she changed her mind during the production. Doctor the Widow and the Wardrobe is definitely a low point.
Oh, it's so dull.
But I think, now you've said it, I think Twice Upon a Time. Yeah. No, because Doctor Mysterio's pretty awful as well.
Well, I don't know. I don't hate Doctor Mysterio.
It's not kitsch enough. It doesn't buy into its kitsch.
Yeah, I
Weird.
guess. But it's not like Twice Upon a Time where it's like carrying out character assassinations.
Yes, yeah.
On past incarnations.
Yeah,
of the
because I
Doctor.
mean,
and also, it doesn't. Twice Upon a Time. Literally nothing.
Yeah,
happens.
there's no baddie. Oh, never mind. Well, we messed around with a Dalek.
Literally nothing happens.
Twice Upon a Time has one good moment, which is we're actually here during the armistice. Okay, that's kind of cool, but then it's ruined by but let's not focus on that. The real human joy and drama. Let's focus on the 12th Doctor's many, many, many friends coming back to say goodbye to just 3 of them. All right, okay. Oh god, what a pointless exercise that one is. Oh my god. I mean, even the Wedding of River Song, the Husbands of River Song, I don't mind. It's like it's not one I'm going to visit on its own. It's definitely a box set story.
Very poor use of Greg Wallace, though.
Greg Davies.
Greg Davies.
If they want to put Greg Wallace,
was the MasterChef guy.
if they want to put Greg Wallace in a
Davies,
future one, I'd love that. That'd be amazing.
That'd be quite good, actually. That would be quite
good. It's a buttery biscuit base under siege story.
I'd love to get my... yeah, Greg. I think that's the thing about the Christmas specials is that a lot of them have been really crap at using their guest stars.
Yeah, there are ones that excel, like Next Doctor and Runaway Bride, that know what they're doing. And then there are others that just miss the mark.
Doctor Widow in the Wardrobe wasting Bill Bailey.
Yeah, oh god.
Fucking Last Christmas with Nick Frost.
Yes, oh god.
And Husbands of River Song with Greg Davies, just like fucking utter waste.
I love how we never quite count the End of Time Part 1, even though it is a Christmas special, but it's because it just sort of feels like it happens at Christmas. It's like Batman Returns. It just kind of happens at Christmas.
Oh, listen. I still have Batman Returns as one of my favourite Christmas films.
That's because your one condition for a Christmas film is that a supermodel has to be dropped into a tree from a great height.
Yeah, that's all I need for a Christmas film.
That and Danny DeVito has to be wearing a dirty onesie.
Oh, Danny DeVito is normal. Right, let's talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife, or are we going to be here all fucking day? Do we have to
talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife? I want to sing the music of Batman Returns instead.
No!
Okay, so Ghostbusters Aftermath by Chuck Wendig is a series of novels that are...
No! Stop it!
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Stay on topic. Stay on topic.
Squadron leader. For those who were listening last week, you probably realised, due to very, very subtle hints that we made during the episode, that it was a pre-recorded episode. Which meant that last week we made the decision, we're going to take that week and have a breather and focus on Christmas and the kids and the show and X, Y, Z.
Well, you had a shit ton of shows.
Yeah, but as we made that decision, in the 24 hours afterwards, 2 big-ass trailers dropped that for our show.
Motherfucker.
For our show, it's like, God damn it. So be still your beating hearts, my dears. We're going to talk about them now. Ghostbusters Afterlife is a 2020 movie directed by Jason Reitman. That is the canonical sequel to the original Ghostbusters series. And like a lot of 20, 30-something year later sequels, it seems to be mostly acknowledging itself as a follow-up to the first. But there's been no word on any bullshit along the lines of, the second one never happened. It just seems to be, we're using your nostalgia of the cult classic family favourite to grab you for this one. We've talked about this on the show before, but from the trailer, the new information we've been able to garner is, spoilers for a trailer, folks. If you haven't seen it, go watch. If you haven't seen it, go watch it now. It's like 2 minutes long. Go watch it. Ghostbusters Afterlife. We're going to start talking in 3, 2, 1 sheet. Turns out that our protagonists, Carrie Coon and her family, her 2 kids, are moving out to their grandfather, so her Carrie Coon's father, presumably, to his farm, a farm that he owned. which has the farmhouse and the barn full of rackety old shit. As we see from the trailer, there is a hidden floor beneath the barn, which contains spores, molds, and fungus, as well as a bunch of other equipment. And I'm kind of happy that he gets to be a big part of the story despite no longer being with us. Turns out that the little girl's grandfather is based on the trailer, Egon Spengler, and which opens up so many questions because we knew that the story was going to be focused more on this family, these two kids, their single mum, and their teacher, played by Paul Rudd. What we didn't know really was that it was going to be a legacy story in a direct sense.
Which makes sense with it being a Jason Reitman project.
Yeah, of course, son of Ivan, director of the original two, and Evolution, which is basically Ghostbusters 3, let's face it.
Yeah, I like Evolution. It's not good, but I like it.
What is it? I think we found that caw and tucky don't work.
Don't work. Oh, small side note, Orlando Jones.
Yes, I know. I mean, I've already not watched American Gods Series 2, but I'm definitely not watching Series 3 after that decision. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's on the third season's not started production yet, and it's already on its fourth showrunner across 3 seasons.
It? And the most current one has fired Orlando Jones because, quote, he doesn't believe that his character is what message they should be putting out to Black America.
Ah, yes.
Quote.
Crusty white dude who's a mediocre writer and producer tells black people what they should.
And the thing is, he's picked the wrong black guy to try and like pass that off as an excuse. Because Orlando Jones is so much for like, you know, a pushing for black issues, black representation. Like, oh my God, he's picked the wrong guy, which is why he's going to be as candid as possible. You know, he's waited till now because he's like, right, I've got enough of a leeway now, and I'm going to start outing him and talking about this. Because apparently the decision was made back in March. Orlando Jones wasn't privy to it, and then in September he was given his marching orders. Oh my God, disgusting. But the thing is, what's it? Anansi, you know, he was one of the most compelling characters to show up in Series 1.
Also, like Orlando Jones helped them get through season 2 by writing a bunch of his own stuff to the degree where he had to be credited by the Writers Guild of America.
Yeah, he got production credit by the end as well on some of the episodes. So it's like, you know, like this guy's a central part of it, and it seems that the decision is completely out of the hands of the creatives behind the show. It's the person who's running the show is the reason it's happened. So even Neil Gaiman's now put a message out on Twitter being like, yeah, just for people who know, this decision is not something I can change. It sucks. Orlando's amazing. And it's just like, oh my God, this shit show. But hey, it's
what we call some bullshit.
It's kind of made me realise that I don't need to watch Series 2 now, because I'm happy having just watched Series 1 and got what I can get out of that. It ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. I can live with it. Just like Ghostbusters 2 ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. It doesn't. It ends quite easily of just like, oh, they're back, and isn't this lovely? Saving the day! But Ghostbusters Afterlife, it seems that we're going to be getting a story in a little Midwestern town where some ghost shit's going on. If you scroll through that trailer looking for weird little details, aside from spores, mold, and fungus, you will notice that the mines that the kids are hanging out around are the Shandor mines.
Yes.
Now, I am both happy and disappointed in that. Because Ivo Shandor is the figure in the past who worshipped and tried to bring about the coming of Gozer, and Ivo Shandor.
Are you overthinking it again, Chris?
But I'll tell you what, Ivo Shandor has been mentioned a lot. He's mentioned a lot in the first film as just part of Ray's and Egon's gobbledygook. The stuff that makes that first film so believably like, okay, sure, like, and because of Venkman and Winston, we're not necessarily like with them, but we're like, okay, right, you guys know what you're talking about, and then they get to the basics, you know, Twinkie analogy and everything. But Shandor's part of the Gozer myth. They followed up on Ivo Shandor's story in Ghostbusters the video game, which is effectively Ghostbusters 3. If Ghostbusters Afterlife is its own thing, following on from those, if you want the third one, it's Ghostbusters the video game.
Which has recently been re-released on
PS4
current-gen consoles.
With a nice shiny graphical upgrade, but some slightly clunky control reassignments apparently.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but so Ivo Shandor's his story has been followed up on, and the reason for that is in Ghostbusters the video game, they wanted to give you an excuse to go back and encounter characters and creatures and stuff from the two movies. So how do you do that? Well, you make a story that ties into the first film, and then that way you get brand new creatures, brand new ghosts, but you can also go back to the Cedric Hotel. You can face off against the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, because at the start of that video game, minor spoiler alert, Gozer briefly re-emerges in the first chapter. You take on the Stay Puft, you kill it, and then they're like, right, why the hell did that happen? It should be gone. And they start to read into it, and you realise that Ivo Shandor has re-emerged, and the spirit realm is starting to bleed into our world, and Gozer wasn't the big bad of this story. Gozer was literally just like, oh, I'm back. Oh, right. And then they killed it. So if they're going to be recycling a lot of the first film, easy nostalgia hook, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't just want this film to be, hey, remember Ghostbusters? Here's all the things from Ghostbusters.
That's the thing that concerns me about it. That's why I'm not overjoyed with it. I'm just I hope it's more than what they're showing me in the trailers.
Yeah, I mean, there's an obvious baiting shot that suggests that one of the Terror Dogs is in the trailer.
Yeah. I'm like,
because it's the sound effect and a thunk on the card thing, and you see an arm, and it's like, oh. And it looks like a practical effect at least, so that's nice, but
yeah,
it's still sort of I don't want the Terror Dogs back, because we've done the Terror Dogs, we've done Shandor, we've done Gozer. Let's have something new. But then again, if they're tying it into Egon, maybe Egon, after it all failed, or after he left, or whatever happened that led him to buying a farm out in the middle of nowhere. Everybody has 3 mortgages these days. Maybe he was trying to follow up on research and stuff. Maybe that's what it is. And if so,
it would make sense. Yeah.
If so, sure. But if that's the case, make this the last Ghostbusters film, so that it acts as a bookend instead.
Which, they won't if it's successful.
Oh no, of course they won't. Of course they flipping won't. And
it'll be the start of a new trilogy.
I hope not.
Spin-offs.
I really hope not. I just hope this is it.
It always fucking is though, Chris, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'd rather not. I mean, maybe one day we'll get what Dan Aykroyd originally wrote and have that film about it being a business that loads of people do, and it's in space, and everybody's a ghost. But Ghostbusters are pest control and are common, and also we live on the moon now.
I love it.
But, whatever's Trevs.
Yeah, I'd like that.
The trailer makes a smart decision in not showing us any returning cast members. I think that is a big, good shout. But what they do use is an alternate angle from behind the scenes of the original first one as, YouTube footage. So you see video footage of them approaching the thing. It's a shot not in the film, which is clever. So many times in films when they use an archive thing or a photo of a character in a frame, it's obviously a press shot or footage from the previous entry in a way where you're like, hang on, that's... and when you know how films are made and you take a look at that, you go, oh, that's distracting. Whereas in this case, it's like, no, that's good. I haven't seen that before. Good work. Nice. Well done, team. It's probably an alternate take where the crowd are yelling Ghost Breakers when they had to get the alternate takes of everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, maybe it's that one, but that was nice. And I like the fact that, again, all they use to tickle the nostalgia bone, they don't do a slow piano version of the theme, they don't even use the theme. All they use to tickle the nostalgia bone is that growl from a terror dog, the little piano, do-do-do, which is just the note that Peter plays on the piano in Dana's apartment.
Yeah.
So that was nice and subtle. And then the use of the Venkman audio, call it fate, call it luck, call it karma, over the end of the trailer, which seems to be
and the ghost trap. And the Spengler.
Oh no, yeah. Obviously physical items, but I mean they weren't Disney theme parking it and pumping smells in and all this stuff.
Enormous shots of Ecto 1.
No, right, no, okay.
And it's got the gunner seat.
Right, no. That's inherent nostalgia that is born out of the fact you're seeing things from your childhood. But what I mean,
yeah, but that's what it's using to tickle the nostalgia.
Oh, true.
It's more than just the 3 things you mentioned. Like it is end to end nostalgia bone tickle.
No, absolutely, I absolutely agree. But I mean, they didn't do that. They didn't drown you by going, listen to this and look at this and here's a shot
I don't know, man.
here's
I
a shot
felt
that
pretty drowned.
here's a shot that recreates that, and here's a shot that recreates this. So you getting bad juju vibes from this one?
Not necessarily budget. It's just so naked.
Matt Watson, a lifelong Ghostbusters fan, reluctantly reviews the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer.
Reviews the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer. It's just so naked what they're doing.
Yeah.
And whether that's what the movie's gonna do, or if that's just Sony marketing, because Sony are notoriously bad at marketing things.
Oh yeah, God, they're terrible. at it. They're terrible. I mean, look at the James Bond trailer the week before. Like, the last 20 seconds is a great trailer. The prior minute and a half is like the whole plot of the film.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't want to get too excited, because then I also don't. Part of me doesn't want this to do well, because I don't want all the people who hated Ghostbusters 2016 because it had women in it to turn around and then go, look, this one's good because it's not all women. I don't want this to vindicate them. So I kind of don't want this to be good, for the same reason that I wanted Ghostbusters 2016 to be better than it ended up turning out.
Make Carrie Coon's character the one who deals the killing blow to whatever the main threat is, and then no one can say shit. Anybody who hated the 2016 one because Woms will be like, yeah, this is badass. It's like, cool. Did you like the bit at the end where the single mother saved the day? They'll be like, yeah, right, cool. So you have no problem with female protagonists then? Well, just in the last one. No. Make your mind up, you sexist twat. Do you know how you do that? You do a post-credit scene or whatever. You do one where you imply that across dimensions, Holtzman has been involved in some way, and you go, fuck you, they're all part of the same thing now, motherfucker. Enjoy.
Well, they've done that in the IDW comics.
They have, haven't they? Yeah. Because they originally did one with the real Ghostbusters, didn't they? Where, like, the Ghostbusters tied in with the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And then since because the only one that's been written out of continuity is Extreme Ghostbusters. That happens in the real Ghostbusters continuity. Here we go, Jesus Christ. But they've introduced characters from Extreme Ghostbusters into the Ghostbusters comic based on the films.
Yes.
In different contexts. So it's like, sure, there's the cartoons, but in the film continuity, here's when Kylie joins the story. She works at Ray's bookshop as an assistant. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, okay, fair enough. That's kind of cool. Bringing in fan favourite characters. I don't know if we've had Eduardo or whatever yet, but, it's still kind of cool that they've done that. But yeah, no, you're right. I'd forgotten about that. They've tied in Ghostbusters 2016 into it all. So, basically, if you guys really love Ghostbusters as much as you say, but hate Ghostbusters 2016 in a fiery biblical kind of way, shut the fuck up. It's part of the story. For our thoughts on Ghostbusters 2016, listen to episode 4 of this podcast and 3 of this podcast, and also episode 180.
Yeah. It's been a journey.
It's been a journey. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. The internet kind of ruins. If you didn't have Twitter, Reddit, everything at your fingertips, do you think you'd be a little bit more excited about it as a result?
Possibly.
Because fan vitriol can affect
enjoyment
and an expectation for a film, as we will discuss again a little later on. Yeah. But overall, I'm keen. I like the premise. I like the fact that they don't really give us any comedy in the trailer. There's some little fun moments, like Finn Wolfhard's Head. Remember that summer when we all died under a table? Like, it has a gunner seat. Like, there's nice little moments in it that are quite sweet and funny. But But I'm thinking of this more as a teaser trailer. It's hey, here's our basic premise. We'll see you next year with another trailer. And I'm like, fair enough.
I just don't want it to be all. Here's that thing you remember. I don't think I can.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to go in for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean. I mean, I think best case scenario, we get a Force Awakens. We get a soft reboot that holds your hand a little bit. Treads familiar ground, but ultimately is a nice, simple story that you come out of going, yeah, I feel pretty good. I had a good time. Like that, I think that's the best case scenario. Yeah. And I think both the Reitmans being involved, because I think Ivan's an exec producer on it.
That sounds right.
And Dan Aykroyd will definitely be involved in it, in the DNA of it in some way. So I as a forgetting nostalgia as just films, I very much enjoy Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, and the fact that we're going to get a bit more of that story is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I just hope that it's nice and simple and lovely. So,
Yeah.
Ghostbusters Afterlife, y'all. Plug it
Y'all.
plug it into my veins and massage my temples as I drift off into sweet death. But maybe I should stick around till later in the summer next year because another motion picture will be unleashed.
Another motion picture. Oh man, right. So delayed as well. Been quite delayed, but
Yeah,
we've got a trailer.
it was due out now originally. The film.
Yeah,
this month.
Which it kind of makes me wonder how finished is it?
Well, Patty Jenkins did the rounds early on, after the release date was changed, to let people know the reason they were changing it is because Warner Brothers felt that it was more a summer film, but she didn't want to bring it forward to August 2019 because it needed the time it needed, because originally it was a November release, so she was like, no, if you're going to do that, we're releasing it summer next year. Now, that's all well and good, and if that is true, and that's her intent, then that's pretty cool. She cares about her film, the studio give her a mandate, she says, cool, but next summer, I'm not rushing it. If that's the case, great. I'm not calling Patty Jenkins a liar. She's a human being, she'll of course lie in her life, but I'm not calling her a liar.
You're calling everyone a liar.
But it may be, I'm calling everybody a liar, I'm calling you all out, fam. But
oh my god.
That may be a bit of nice PR spin to suggest that there's been some production troubles, or that there's been some budget concerns, or what have you. All I know is we now have our first look at Wonder Woman 1984.
Yes.
And hot damn, please plug this one directly into my veins.
Yes.
I think this looks absolutely fucking astounding.
It looks like a lot of fun.
It looks so cool. Wonder Woman was shit in Batman v Superman, and then Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot teamed up, and that director-actor combo worked so much better and created one of the most endearing, pleasantly, innocent and badass protagonists in a superhero film in the last 10 years. And to see more from these two, yes, please, sign me up, sailor. But weirdly, the shots of Diana being an absolute badass weren't the things that won me over in this trailer. There's some great moments. There's a bit where it sort of slows down and she deflects a bullet and you see it going slowly. You see it happen slowly in slow-mo, and that's really cool.
Unloading the gun, essentially.
Yeah, there's a bit toward the end, toward the middle of the trailer where she uses her tiara, Linda Carter style. She lobs a tiara as a frisbee and knocks things around. It's oh, that's so cool. There's some great Wonder Woman stuff. It looks like we're getting a version of Flight in this as well.
Well, yeah, you've got the Golden Eagle armor, haven't you?
Yeah, and also swinging with her whip off of lightning.
That is, yeah.
That is a panel van image if there ever was one. I thought we were watching Thor Ragnarok at that moment in the trailer. I was like, oh my god, this is weird. I love it.
And in a deliberate choice as well, no sword.
Yes, yeah.
Not doing the sword this time round.
Nil pointy. Well, that would make sense because Diana is a lot more. She's more of a. She's more aware of mortality as well in her story too.
Yeah.
So even within the narrative, it also then, of course, retroactively means Justice League doesn't know what it's fucking doing. But anyway.
Yeah, which I think,
Well, Justice League.
Fine, let's ignore Justice League and BVS. They suck.
You stayed hidden for all those years, except that year in 1984 where you got up to shit.
where you defeated Maxwell Lord.
Some detective you are, Bruce. Now, he's another thing that's got me excited. It's Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Is his Mandalorian helmet off.
With his face out.
And because it's set in the 80s, they've gone, right, he's called Max Lord. He's credited as Max Lord. For those who don't know Maxwell Lord, what's your bullet point kind of summary of what the hell his business is? Is Jimmy Riddle.
He was a business guy dude who was the government liaison with the Justice League in the 70s and 80s, and then he turned evil and he had mind control powers and he shot Blue Beetle in the face.
Huzzah! So basically,
he's kind of
a big deal.
It wouldn't surprise me if they do a bit of Donald Trump with him.
A bit of Donald Trump? You watched Did you watch that trailer? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
no, it's straight on 80s Donald Trump. I fucking love it.
Oh my god, the hair, the tie, the tan.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It can't be accused of like being oh it's all political and this and the other. It's like, because they're specifically parodying 80s Donald Trump.
Which, to be fair, isn't that different from today's Donald Trump, just more racist.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Donald Trump see boys and girls. About 10 years ago and prior to that, Donald Trump wasn't thought of as anything politically related. He was just a business magnate and hotel owner who was a dick and a bit of a braggart and a personality. And people
Just a man
people either found him
without a man's
entertaining.
courage.
Yeah, people either found him entertaining or didn't give a shit about him.
Yeah.
But he was famous enough to like Walt Disney, Albert Einstein, like he was an archetype in people's heads. If you wanted to create a character who was a warm, cuddly head of something, maybe a family-friendly figure who was in charge of a company or was, you know, the person who ran the factory or whatever, Walt Disney was a shorthand. Just you perform it like Walt Disney used to be in all of his specials. Do it like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you want a scientist who's brilliant, but a little bit mental, a little bit wacky. He's got a fun sense of humor. Great. Einstein. There we go. We model it off of Einstein. There are people who within pop culture have been used as shorthand for performances for decades. Trump, for the majority of the 80s and 90s, was the shorthand for blowhard businessman. In some instances, it made people feel uncomfortable to do that, and they changed it around. See the greatest movie of all time, Gremlins 2. John Glover plays Daniel Clamp, who originally, the name alone, he works in the Clamp building, the Clamp cable network, Clamp real estate. The building has his name on it, and he was written in the script as this sort of, you know, blowhard, arrogant, nasty, sort of moronic boss of a company who loved getting his face out there. And during the development, after they cast John Glover spoke to Joe Dante and co. Was just like, I think there's more comedy here if we make him a bit more of just a misplaced buffoon. Like he's not a bad person. He just doesn't really realize, you know, that his happy image and all this stuff does mean that hundreds of thousands of people have to work effortlessly to make it happen. He doesn't seem to realise that that's knackering. And by the end of the film, he kind of sees the error of his ways a little and is a bit more open. Like, his next project becomes creating a small town, like a quiet community. Because it's what he's been missing. And it's great. It's like John Glover looked at that script and went, we can make him nicer and softer and play with him a bit more. And as a result, Daniel Clamp's one of the most enjoyable characters in Gremlins 2. And they should totally, like Red Letter Media said, do a threequel where Daniel Clamp is now president and the film's set in the White House. But, you know, like Trump is still shorthand, and it nowadays it might seem a little risky to do that because of his political standing. Of course, as of the recording of this podcast, he is the 45th president of the United States, and you know, handbasket, hell, and finish it yourself. But
that one, yeah.
But you know, to use him here is going to piss off a lot of people. To make Max Lord and Allegory for Trump is going to piss off a lot of people. But you know what? Good. Because the argument is, hey, it's 80s Donald Trump we're taking the piss out of. If you can see current Trump in this villain performance, then that's on you. Trump sees himself as Thanos, for Christ's sake. So,
literally the biggest bad guy.
Oh God, the biggest, thickest bad boy. Maybe Trump just wants Paul Rudd to crawl into his ass. But the point is, well, you know, I think Pedro Pascal looks amazing in this. He looks proper smarmy.
Pedro Pascal always looks amazing.
If viewers and listeners are unaware of Cheetah, then I think the trailer's done an excellent job at burying that lead. The trailer gives you a hint of, oh, look, Diana's making friends out in the world. And here's Kristen Wiig. Oh, isn't that great? Oh, do you remember how Lucy Davis was in the last one? She was sort of like a comedy best mate. Oh, it'll be Kristen Wiig's job this time around. Isn't this fantastic? In the third act, she's going to be doing so much damage.
I'm down with that.
Because there's like a suggestion in the trailer of her confidence building and her character changing a bit. I think we've got like some. I think potentially with Kristen Wiig in this, we've got some like Jack Nicholson levels of like, holy shit! I didn't imagine them being like that kind of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How Jack as the Joker, everyone's like, oh, I kind of get it, yeah. And then you see it, and you go, oh god, no, he's really been let out of the bag. Like, I think we're going to see that with Kristen Wiig in this role.
Yeah, I reckon so.
That armor looks sweet.
Yes.
Chris Pine looks confused.
Yes. So that would seem to suggest that it is original OG Steve Trevor.
Yeah, it's like an immortality kind of storyline. The idea of using time to prolong life, and it's like, what? What's going on?
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Some people die in planes in World War II. I like people who didn't die in planes in World War II. That's a direct quote from Max Lord in the film there. That's true. Max Lord, did you fight in World War II? Bone spurs. Okay, no, all right, fair enough.
No, okay. Cool.
Wonder Woman 1984, get it in my mouth.
Get it in my face.
Do you know what we've not had a lot of in our face, weirdly?
What's that?
Considering what time of year it is and the company that's made it,
Yeah.
The Rise of Skywalker has been weirdly absent from the popular culture umbrella. It's there, and we all know it's coming, and there have been trailers and TV spots for sure. But compare it to the last two entries in the saga. Hell, compare it to Solo. It feels like the marketing for this film has been really played down compared to the others. I've seen more ads for Jumanji 3 than I have for
I've seen
Star
a
Wars.
bunch of like billboards about, and it's on. I don't know. I don't feel like it's been. I feel like they've not shown as much of it.
Oh no, true.
As
They've put a couple clips out recently, and we definitely had less trailer time. This one.
I was at a friend's on pardon me, on Saturday night, and his son, who's 10, was freaking out because he was watching the J.J. Abrams and clip reveal event inside Fortnite.
Bloody hell! What on earth? Is this where we're at now? Fortnite's the marketing.
The kid was vibrating with excitement.
See, that is adorable. That's what Star Wars is really about. For anybody who has any problems with it, like, that's ultimately what it's really about. Remember when you were a kid and you watched it? That's what it's about. It's a kid's film.
After they showed the clip, they asked all the players what their favourite lightsaber colour was, and they all went to stand in like a different area, depending on what colour it was.
Yeah.
And then they all got to open a box at the end of the event, and it had that colour lightsaber in it for them.
Oh, that's so cool.
So now there's lightsabers in Fortnite.
Well done, Fortnite. Well done, Fortnite. Well done.
So yeah, I mean, it's that kind of thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's working because that kid is so jazzed. So jazzed about Star Wars. And everything to do with Star Wars. So I think it's just that they're not targeting us. Because when they targeted us, they got a lot of us who have problems with women.
Oh, God, yeah.
Being very upset about The Last Jedi. Not that there aren't legitimate criticisms of The Last Jedi. Not that I have any.
Yeah, again, reminder to the listeners, Matt really enjoyed Last Jedi. I didn't enjoy Last Jedi. Guess what? We still get on.
But mainly because your concerns about Last Jedi don't just boil down to it wasn't exactly what I wanted, and also it has women in it. Like,
yeah, my concern.
It's a bit more nuanced than that.
Again, if you want to hear my concerns, go back to December 2017's episodes. Look for the one with, if I remember correctly, the thumbnail is Luke drinking blue milk. But
as should be the thumbnail for all things. Blue milk straight from the nipple.
Oh, straight from the giraffe's teat.
Straight from the giant cow teat.
I guarantee that thing will show up in the film somewhere.
I hope so.
So we
everything else will.
Everything else bleeding well. As a result of that, I'm looking forward to the new one. I genuinely am, because I want to see what the conclusion to this trilogy is going to be like. As a film fan, I'm interested to see how J.J. Abrams is going to bookend a story. that went in way different directions than he was anticipating in its middle entry. So I'm just intrigued to see how he plays with that and how he resolves things after Rian Johnson made choices that JJ said now in interviews he wouldn't have made. So I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued to see how is he going to just try and slot back into where he imagined the conclusion would be, or is he building off of Ryan's script for The Last Jedi to create a new thing that has a flavour of them both, which ideally, that's how I'd like it to end. I'd like it to end in a way that feels like it's wrapping up both flavours of the previous two films together. Because as much as I didn't enjoy Last Jedi, it's part of the story, and to ignore it would be weird. In terms of ignoring it tonally and its directions for certain characters, that would be odd if they just denied its existence and went back to how JJ would have done the trilogy.
Yeah.
So I hope it's a mix of flavours, but there's been some odd vibes going on in general. I like I say, it may be hitting the kids, but I feel like there's been a downplay of the online marketing, and you're right, it might just be to downplay unnecessary hate and vitriol. But let's face it, those people are always there, and they've not gone away. Like
those people are already going to watch it anyway.
Yeah, they're going to see it. They're going to see it. They're going to drop money on it. Like you're still going to make your cash, Disney. So what have you got to fear? But there has been some weird marketing snafus, mostly centered around John Boyega, who allegedly misplaced a script in a flat or a hotel room. The story changes based on who's telling it. Earlier this year, he misplaced one of the scripts, one of the only 5 full copies that have been allowed to exist. And the narrative has changed several times in the interviews from, it's the full script for The Rise of Skywalker, and it's the full script, but it's done with this sort of thing where you have to light the pages a certain way to read it, and it's like, right, hang on, wait, what? Because apparently a cleaner got hold of it, gave it to someone else who then went to put it on eBay, and Disney managed to get hold of it. Now that's an interesting story, but based on the conflicting interviews and the conflicting information given by everybody, including John Boyega and J.J. Abrams, I call bullshit. I think it's like he had some sides. I think he left some sides in his hotel room or whatever.
I mean that would make sense.
Because God, it seems like a kind of story you go, oh my God, could you imagine if that happened? But it's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We would have heard of this sooner if this had happened, honestly. We really would have done. And you're telling me a cleaner just hands it over? Are you kidding me? If they found that, they'd be like, I'm keeping this.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I'm keeping this. I'm either selling it or I'm keeping it or whatever. Mental. Absolutely mental. And just, it seems really strange that the story keeps changing and tweaking, and I don't think it's a case of Chinese whispers. I think it's just a case of it's bullshit. And maybe he left a call sheet or something. And that's what they're talking about. But they've inflated it to, it was the whole script. It was the whole script. Because on top of that, John Boyega's also made some very poor choice of words in interviews in relation to the fan backlash.
It's surprising.
Yeah. When asked about the internet's response to The Last Jedi being very polarizing, he was asked, what do you think about all that, and the fact that it forced Kelly Marie Tran, who plays Rose Tico, sort of off of social media. She left because she felt like she was being overwhelmingly harassed and bullied. And John Boyega, I think he's since released a statement to say, and what it seems like he was trying to say was, you've got to be really kind of strong to deal with all that stuff, and to not deal with it might be taken as a sign of weakness, but, ultimately you have to kind of expect it, and it sucks that it happens and people need to be nicer. But what he said was, you have to be strong to deal with that sort of stuff. I think you're weak if you back down. It's like, are you saying that Kelly was weak?
Yeah, it was a really odd,
really, really strange wording.
Really weird thing to say.
But it's also like he's been biting back a lot of the people who hate it in because of course if someone's like, we hate your movie because of stupid reasons like sexism and this, that, and the other. Yeah. If they say that, you're more than entitled to want to say back to them, well, you guys are fucking idiots. But you're also doing publicity for a kids' film for a massive film company.
Yeah.
So maybe be a bit more diplomatic and just say, look, I feel like there are people who are mad about it for reasons that ultimately are down to them and who they are as people, and they need to look at themselves and think about what's really important in life and who they might be hurting.
Yeah.
But I just hope everybody, regardless of how they feel about previous films, I hope they have a good time and they get what they want from this movie. Be diplomatic, say that. Basically make it clear that you don't endorse the sexism, but at the same time, hey, we're here to have fun, guys, so come and watch the movie and have fun. And if you want to do a separate statement saying, leave my mates alone because you're all being arseholes, do that too. Absolutely. But his choice of words, man, just like, oh. And this hasn't been helped by the fact this last week I've heard a story off of somebody I've been working with about a time that Boyega worked at the Old Vic and was very difficult to work with.
Oh,
in a way that's making me go, no, ignore it. I don't want to believe that he's an arsehole.
No.
Yeah, but I think we're dealing with somebody who's done a lot in a lot of year in a short amount of time from a young age, and has kind of forgotten to think before he opens his mouth.
But then there's also that this comes on the heels of the Daisy Ridley interview.
Yeah, no, I've not read into this one proper. What's happened here?
Basically, the interviewer asks her about, her privilege, and she's like, "No, I don't think I'm privileged. I think me and John are pretty much the same." And I'm like,
"Oh, Daisy,
no. Daisy, no,
Daisy, give us your answer.
You went to boarding school. Your dad was, you come from a wealthy family. Like, it's not the same." Oh dear.
Oh God.
Oh dear.
I mean, at the same time, are these, in the defense of John and Daisy and everybody, are these the sort of questions that should really be being asked of the stars of a kids' film on the junket for the kids' film? Do you know what I mean? Like, there are definitely things
I don't think the press treats it like a kids' film, for one
thing. Yeah,
thing.
they don't, do they? It's an odd one.
And I think...
Because of course, there's going to be people complaining now, but of course Star Wars is multi-generational, but ultimately, it's fantasy, sci-fi, fairy tales aimed at the family.
Yeah.
That most strike a chord with the children in the audience.
Oh, yeah.
It's the reason why we adored the prequels at first as kids, and why there's a generation of people younger than us who love the prequels even to this day because of how much joy they brought them when they were
Chris,
kids.
I went to see Attack of the Clones 3 times at the cinema.
Exactly.
The fuck is wrong with me?
You've got problems, but, we can get you the help you need. But it's, it's these films are there to strike a chord at children, ultimately. That's who these films are for in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So it is weird that these questions are being asked on the junkets, and these are the focuses. It's odd, but also, and here's sort of a little bit of a game we're going to play now to wrap up the thingy. Based on rumours, because as of the recording of this podcast, guys, it's the 16th. We've not seen the film. As of the release of this podcast, we'll have both seen the movie.
Yeah.
And we will talk about it in spoilerific detail 2 episodes from now. But do expect us to post a video at some point later in the week to the Big Damn channel with our spoiler-free thoughts on YouTube. But based on some rumours, it seems like some odd choices have been made in relation to this film, which has led me to wonder, what are our collected predictions for The Rise of Skywalker? Because one thing I've heard in the last couple of weeks is that Kelly Marie Tran's role in the film, from script to shooting, has been severely reduced. And that Rose is very much a momentary player in a couple of scenes. Which would suck if that was because they're worried about people being mad she's in it.
I don't think it is. I think it's probably because J.J. Abrams had a sort of ending in mind for this, which just didn't involve her.
True.
And it's just he's moved away from that because she's not his character.
True, but then again,
in the same way that
go on. Sorry.
He in the same way he created the Knights of Ren, didn't do anything with them in The Force Awakens, and then
here they
Ryan Johnson didn't pick that thread up in Last Jedi either, because it's not
his baby.
They weren't part of the story that he wanted to tell, and arguably they might not have been part of the story J.J. Abrams wanted to tell, because he just likes setting things up.
He's a mystery box guy. Ryan Johnson was going to tell the story about them, but then he noticed something on their shoe at the beginning and thought he'd save the time.
Hey,
God, I love that film. Anyway,
it's very good.
so
that was very good.
seriously, guys, if you don't like Ryan Johnson because of The Last Jedi, eat your humble pie and go and watch Knives Out. It's brilliant. But
it's very good.
it's an amazing script as well. But which again written by him. But yeah, it could be that. But I think the worry is because the precedent for this before within Star Wars of a character being massively introduced, being a big focal point of one film, and then being relegated to there they are status in the next one, was Jar Jar Binks.
Oh no!
Yeah, well, true. No, Jar Jar was a big part of Phantom Menace, and George has gone on record saying that his role was reduced after the backlash to him. Hence why he just appears briefly in Clones and has a couple of lines in Sith. And I really, really hope that isn't the case. And I really hope it's more, like you say, it's more that she just wasn't in JJ's plan. So he's accommodated the character into his story. But even so, that kind of sucks. Like, surely you could find a way for her to be more involved. Especially because based on what we know of the film, they're introducing another handful of new protagonists.
Yeah.
So couldn't Rose have occupied one of those story beats?
That's very true.
I mean, I guess we'll see. I just all I really hope at this point is that Kelly Marie Tran gets a breakout role in something in the very near future.
Yeah,
because she's been done a dirty by the internet, and it sucks the way she's been treated.
Has. And I like that character in The Last Jedi, and I don't understand why people didn't.
Again, Movie Bob points this out in his Really That Good episode on Star Wars, that Han Solo enters the film at the start of the second act, and is our POV character all over again, because we've not really had one yet. And then this guy rocks up who, apart from the occasional weird space word, talks and thinks like we do. And he's just sort of there. And that's kind of nice, because by the time he's in it, you're like, right, he gets to quip on how weird this scenario is. Well, Rose Tico was a similar character in that she was a fan self-insert. Like, she's in Last Jedi, and when she rocks up, she's like, oh my god, you're Finn, and you work with Han Solo, and oh my god. And it's like, she should be an Osgood. You know what I mean? She should be a Ray Stantz. She's a character who loves this stuff. Who we should be like, yeah. And I mean, me personally, I don't think The Last Jedi used her to her best potential. No. But there is room for that character to be beloved there. But hey, forget that. Let's throw in another tiny robot. That'll distract everyone. So what are your upcoming predictions for the movie that, as of now, we have not yet watched? And if you guys have already watched it as you're listening to this, let's see how much of our stuff is right or wrong.
I don't think we're going to get... The most important thing is I don't think we're going to get a double back on Rey's parents.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to be like, actually, she was the child of this person all along. I don't think they're going to do that. And if they do, they're cowards. Which, might well be the case.
Yeah, can I make my first prediction?
That they're going to do that.
I think they're going to do it. Which, again, I don't like myself. One thing I really liked about that reveal in Last Jedi was the idea that, she's no one in terms of lineage.
Yeah, she's just a person.
Which makes sense, because the logic of the sequel trilogy when it comes to the Force is the logic of the original trilogy. It's space magic.
Yeah.
Like, let the Force choose someone to be its conduit, which is why she is, like, a very quick learner.
And it would just piss all over the themes of
The Last Jedi.
In terms of, it being not being about where you're from or who your parents are. It's about who you are and the power you have.
Yeah. It's because The Last Jedi. That's the ending shot of the movie doubles down on that. The ending shot of the movie is the kid moving the broom with the Force, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, and
absolutely.
Well, my second prediction is they're not going to follow up on that. I don't think they're going to follow up on the idea of Force sensitive people out and about, which in a way means The Last Jedi has a really nice note to end on, but will feel odd that isn't the last note of the last film. Like, it feels like that should be the closing shot of this film almost.
Yeah, Last Jedi almost felt like it could be the end of the series.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I probably would have been happy with it, to be honest.
Yeah. So I don't think they're going to follow up on that, though they really should because of how it feels definitive in the last one, but you should probably at least comment on it in this one. I don't think Palpatine is a Force ghost, as has been the suspicion for a long time. I think he's full on, has survived through sheer force of will. Because why would we be spending time in the Death Star wreckage outside of the obvious nostalgia? Like,
I think he's Mecha Palpatine.
You think that like floating chair thing we kind of see is partially him?
Yeah.
I'd be down for that. I'd be down to clown.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get any more backstory about Snoke.
Well, have you seen the preview clip of Kylo Ren?
No.
Okay.
I've not been going out of my way to get this
No,
stuff.
no. Without going into it, then you're not going to get backstory for Snoke based on what's suggested in this clip, but something will allude to what Snoke was in terms of his role.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I saw this preview clip, I was like, "What?" And then I forcibly stopped watching preview clips because I was like, "I think that's giving me a little too much insight because I'm now theorizing, but that's what they want me to do. But I kind of just want to,
absolutely.
I kind of just want to finish my show on Wednesday night, go out for a couple drinks, get something to eat, and then climb into the theater and be surprised." So
yeah, that's why I've not. I think part of the reason why we both probably think the marketing is less. Fucking shut up, phone. But part of the reason is less.
Snoke's calling.
I know, right? Fucking part of the marketing is so. We feel like it's less saturated because we've not been searching it out.
He's calling to say, "Don't cut me off."
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, I know what you mean. We've kind of our personal journeys with it have been like we have a pop culture podcast, but we also don't want to ruin it and be surprised.
Yeah, like I've watched the two main trailers, but I've not gone searching for TV spots or.
Oh, so you're unaware of hashtag They Fly Now?
Oh, I did see that. That was all over social media.
That's true. They fly now. They fly now. C-3PO will die in some way.
Yeah.
C-3PO will be used as a conduit for something that will result in his execution. And C-3PO will die, and Chewie will live. Chewie will survive the series.
Oh yeah, Chewie will survive. He's not going to be crushed by a moon like he was in the old
and then discovered by Indiana Jones or whatever in another thing. Do you remember that one?
Oh god, that was one of the Star Wars Infinity stories.
Yeah, because he was crushed by in main continuity as it was now Legends. He was crushed by a moon, wasn't he?
Yeah, saving the children of Han and Leia.
Yeah, but there's that mini comic book story where like they crash on Earth, and or what eventually becomes Earth, and Han dies in the crash.
Yeah,
and then
or shortly after.
Yeah, and then eventually, like thousands of years later, it appears to just be the wreckage, like the remains of a temple, and Indiana Jones goes in to discover the what treasures are inside. At the same time, they're in the forest that it's in. There are sightings of Bigfoot. Yeah, and it's like, oh my god, this is fanfiction.net levels of weird.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. That's gonna be the post-credits scene. No, do we think?
I never think.
Clearly, do we think that we're going to be getting any major character deaths other than C3?
Other than 3, so out of our core, our leads. So our Poe, Rey, Finn. I'm not going to say Lando. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to say Lando. Redeemed. Kylo, yeah. I think we're going to lose Kylo because it's predictable, and I think it's going to be an act of self-sacrifice.
I think we're going to lose Kylo and get Ben Solo.
Oh, Bay Solo.
Dreamy Ben Solo with his wide chest.
Ben Swallow. No, I think we're going to lose Kylo in an act of self-sacrifice, a la Vader at the end of Jedi, because predictable. I kind of I kind of want us to lose... If we're going to lose Kylo, I kind of want us to lose Kylo and Rey. And make it more about that balance thing, almost. Do you know what I mean? But,
make it a fresh start, basically, for the galaxy.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think that would be an odd message to send, that it's like, and now the hands of the future are left in... the hands of the future that are going to guide everyone are Poe Damerons. It's like, yeah, it's a bit weird that we've bigged Rey up so much and then she goes. But at the same time...
I don't think you need to do that, though. I don't think you need to turn around and say, oh, the future of the galaxy is in the hands of these other characters. You just need to say it's not in their hands
Everyone
anymore.
can take a breath now. Everything's cool, fam. Everything's cool.
Yeah, the kid with the broom's going to come back and sort things out in 20 years' time. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, guys. It's all cool. So cool. What do we think Luke's role is in the film?
Force Ghost.
Do you think so?
What else would it be?
I support your theorem, and I shall tell you for why. There's been a bit of viral marketing doing the rounds. So back when Murder on the Orient Express was being made, in the run-up to Last Jedi coming out, Josh Gad did a series of videos on his Instagram where he was harassing Daisy Ridley for information.
Oh, yeah,
spoilers.
I saw one of those, yeah.
They were very funny and very cute, and like at one point he gets Judi Dench involved, and you know, it was these brilliant little sketches that basically Josh Gad was doing on this film set with all these stars. And it was great. It was really fun. Disney obviously went, that was funny. Hey, Josh, you're promoting one of our movies right now. Hey, Daisy, you're promoting one of the movies right now. Can we get you guys to film an advert? And it's a little comedy sketch on Walt Disney's YouTube channel, where she's doing a junket and Josh Gad comes in and is like, "No, I'm not gonna bug you for questions, but these guys will." And then it's just a series of endless cameos of people coming through the door asking a question. Apart from JJ, just comes through and says, "Stay strong, Daisy," and just walks out. It's like John Boyega appears, and like Tom Holland, Paul Bettany, Tina Fey. It's just a random string of people, and they're all asking her weird questions. She's responding. And it's a fun little skit. But Mark Hamill mentioned on Twitter that he originally, because people were saying, "Why are you not in this?" And he said, "Well, I did." He said, "Funny enough, I did shoot." So I'll have to find the way he words it. He says, I did shoot something for this, but we cut it out because Daisy thought the thing I said was a bit too spoilerific. Now Hamill is a big old troll when it comes to...
he loves winding people up, yeah.
Oh, here it is, yeah. He says, Daisy somehow considers it a spoiler, seriously, and he's got an eye-rolling emoji. But it's because he referred to himself as Luke the Spook. Which is funny, but if he's purposely going, "Oh, sod it, here's a bit of info, everybody," then that does imply that Force Ghost Luke is indeed his role in the film. It makes sense, wouldn't it? It makes sense.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what else could it be?
Any other big old predictions that are up on your thingy hole? Because we have too many cute droids now, and I fear that R2 is once again going to be underutilized.
R2's going to be shuffled off along with C-3PO because he can't exist without 3PO.
True, but he's cute though, isn't he?
One cannot function without the other. He is cute. And BB-8's here to, BB-8.
BB-8...
He's an old model.
New dialogue, scare quotes, wasn't recorded for Last Jedi for BB-8. Rian Johnson just used stuff they already had in the batch.
Well, they probably have tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff.
True, but that to me felt like a weird shortcut, because it's like part of the charm of him in The Force Awakens is it feels like he's alive. Like his little weird noises feel like responsive, and it's because it was Thomas...
Bill Hader and Ben Schwartz.
No, not Thomas Middleditch. I'm talking about Bill Hader and Ben Schwartz. Thomas Middleditch hasn't popped up in it yet, has he? In Star Wars? I guarantee he's a stormtrooper in this one, probably. He's in that network. He will definitely show up at some point as a stormtrooper. Or a voice of one. Or just do a Daniel Craig and show up to set one day. Isn't it weird to think that bloody Prince Harry and Prince William, Daniel Craig, have all snuck into stormtrooper outfits and cameoed in these movies? It's so weird.
Yeah, that's not bad. Well, it's not the first time Prince Harry's worn a stormtrooper costume.
True. Who's the? Oh god, that top.
Oh, was that Prince William?
No, it was Harry. It was Harry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Harry. You leave Wills out of this. Willie and Kate. Katie and Willie. Welcome to our lovely family. But oh god, who was the stormtrooper who slapped Finn on the arse in Last Jedi? Was that? It's someone like Tom Hardy. It's someone like that who just randomly cameoed. Can't remember now. Someone tell us in the comments who played the stormtrooper that slapped Finn on the arse.
I don't know. Don't know.
Which was such a weird moment.
Say? Who could say?
But yeah, I have a feeling that I just basically what I'm saying is I want Schwartz and Hader to do more noises for BB-8, but I have a feeling the R2's gonna just be kind of waylaid a bit.
Yeah, probably.
In a way that makes me sad because it's like Chewie and 3PO are being given these moments, but R2's just kind of there.
What can you do with him? He can't speak.
Well, you can absolutely use him. You just don't introduce another frickin' droid. Like this little angle-poised lamp on a wheel thing that they've introduced for this.
Do you have any idea how many DOs they're going to sell?
Well, I'll be honest, probably not many compared to BB-8, considering I've not seen any DOs on sale yet.
Yeah, that's true.
It's weird. It feels like there's been less toys for this one.
They are out there. But they just don't seem... Shops don't seem to be stocking them.
Exactly. Like, what you shouldn't have to seek them here, seek them there. Because we talked about this before. There's been lots of new Star Wars merch, but not really Rise of Skywalker stuff.
But it is out there. That's the thing. It is there. They're just not stocking it.
I'm only picking up one myself because I don't really collect them anymore. But like, I want to at least get the Rey on the Black Series for this one, so I can have a Rey from each of the three.
Yeah, the Rise of the Skywalker Black Series figures look nice.
And also to continue the ongoing saga of they've not settled on a sculpt for Daisy Ridley yet.
Yeah, that's
Everyone
true.
is different, and yet they all do look like her. It's like, what is this?
That's true.
What is going on? Best one they've made so far is the end of Force Awakens, start of Last Jedi one, the which, as you've seen, is in my office holding out the lightsaber.
Yeah, that's quite good.
That's a good figure.
I think that this is basically going to be a retread of Return of the Jedi in the same way that Force Awakens was a retread of New Hope.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Do we think the desert chase stuff is in the first act and is sort of the Jabba's palace sequence, as it were?
Yeah, probably. And I think
Lando flies the Falcon, so
I think the Rey as a Sith stuff is
false.
Dagobah Cave Force Vision.
Yeah.
And I think that the end big space battle is going to be the Return of the Jedi end big space battle. Big old end space battle. We got to destroy this whatever this super weapon is.
Yeah. Do you think
Who
do
knows?
you think that's where the horse riding in space is going to be?
Yeah, probably. I'd love that. Like, we're just going to land a ship on the side of this space station and then ride horses along it. Because who would expect that? Who would expect horse riding in space? Oh, I hope it is. I love that idea.
Horse riding in space.
I love it. Why not? Fuck it.
Why the fuck not? It started out as a samurai western hybrid. We may as well have some horse riding.
Yeah, too.
Gosh
right. We
darn
had some
it.
horse riding in the last one.
Also, based on that, did you see that latest poster? It's ugly as fuck. It's the red and blue lightsabers slicing into like a rock formation on a plain white background, and the top of the formation is Vader's burned helmet. And I think it's that thing in the trailer where you see Rey and Kylo smashing this thing with a lightsaber in a pure white environment.
No, that is Vader's helmet. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you can see it.
Yeah, so it's definitely part of a vision of some kind. It has to be.
No, I think it might be.
I don't know, for it to be that pure white and clean everywhere in a Star Wars movie, it's got to be a vision.
No, it could be a First Order ship.
True, but
look at their ships in Jedi and
especially in Last Jedi, yeah,
Force Awakens.
especially in Last Jedi. But who's doing the mopping?
One of the stormtroopers.
Roger. Get a battle droid to do it.
Yeah.
Also, we'll get it. I think my last prediction: we'll get a Roger in some way, because we can see from that like workshoppy bit where 3PO is, there's bits of battle droid hung up on the wall.
Oh yeah, love
and
that.
They won't be able to resist somewhere in the film something going Roger. So,
do you think we'll get a Mr. Bones cameo from the Aftermath trilogy?
Mr. Bones cameo.
Have you not encountered Mr. Bones?
I've not encountered Mr. Bones yet. No, but I think we will get a cameo from him in the same way we got a cameo from the little the R2 unit from Rebels, in Rogue One. We're just kind of there. It's like,
well, the ghost is in.
Ghost is in the fleet. Yeah. So it's like, who's driving it? Who the hell's driving it? Is it a really, really elderly Ezra?
He won't be that. He'll be the same age as Luke.
Will he though?
Yeah,
exactly. Really old as balls.
He is canonically the same age as Luke.
Old as balls and planning to decapitate his nephew in his sleep. Just like Luke. Just like Luke.
Do we think there might be some link between The Mandalorian and Rise of the Skywalker, considering that they have changed the date of the episode that's due to go out around then?
Yeah. No, I'll be honest. I think the fact they've changed the date is more to do with the fact that they just don't want an episode of The Mandalorian to drop, as it were, during the run.
I would love it if the Razor Crest showed up in that space battle.
Maybe Baby Yoda's pod's just hanging out somewhere.
Yeah, why not?
I'm looking forward to
Baby Yoda's just hanging out somewhere.
I'm looking forward to us getting an actual name for that character at some point, because
he is named officially. He is just named the Child.
Yeah, so we're going to get that when the Funko finally comes out, because they've revealed what the Funko looks like, and it does look adorable. But
no, that's the name on all the merchandise, because they've started.
Oh, good.
It's just the Child.
But because of how kawaii he already is, the Funko of Baby Yoda just looks like a Funko of Yoda.
Yeah.
Kawaii.
He needs his little soup bowl.
Oh, yes, he does. Little baby. Well, do you know what else needs a soup bowl?
Me.
Yeah, and me. I've got a sore throat.
And me. We both need soup bowls because it's nearly lunchtime where we are.
Yeah, in the past.
In the past.
In the past.
Right. You go, Coco. You bowl your soup and tend to yourself. Meanwhile, those of you listening can head over to @BigDamnCast on Twitter and follow us for the latest updates and developments. Keep an eye on our YouTube. Regular streams, twitch.tv/BigDamnStream. And of course, if you like the show and you want to support what we do and you're in a position to, please head over to patreon.com/BigDamnCast, where you can support us from as little as $1 a month.
So, but give us money, yeah?
Yeah, don't have to.
Give us money, yeah? You're going to give us money, right? Money?
Yeah, please.
Money!
You don't have to, though.
Do. We've got to be more aggressive in our marketing, Matt. That's where Rise of Skywalker's failing.
Oh, God. Next week's episode has already been recorded. That will be our Christmas episode.
Sweet Christmas.
And then the week after that, tune in for a spoilerific deep dive into Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker.
We're going to digest it over 1,000 years.
Yes, I am the Sarlacc.
Oh, last prediction. One of those flying stormtroopers is going to land in a Sarlacc pit. Because it's all like a poem. It's like stanzas. Rhymes.
It rhymes. Fucking hell.
Oh, who's your favourite Star Wars character? Mine is Spock. Goodbye, everyone! Goodbye! Oh, you shall not pass!